I'm Kerry.
Standing outside my childhood home, the door firmly shut behind me, I can still hear the protests and cries from inside. The weight of what just happened is overwhelming, yet there's also a strange sense of lightness, as if I've shed a burden I've carried for far too long. I grew up in a cozy suburban house in Seattle. On the surface, we were a typical American family: mom, dad, my younger sister Lily, and me. Mom and dad were both known in the community. Dad was a respected lawyer, always strict and focused on upholding family values. Mom was a socialite, more concerned with appearances and the well-being of Lily, who was the apple of their eyes. As the older child, I was always held to a higher standard. I had a set curfew that I couldn't break, and any less than perfect grades would lead to long lectures. I had to earn every privilege, like going out with friends or using the family car, through doing chores and being responsible. I thought it was just normal parenting, a way to prepare me for the real world. Then came Lily, 4 years younger than me. From the moment she was born, everything changed. Her tantrums were always soothed, and her average schoolwork was praised as a great effort. Whenever there were household tasks, somehow they ended up on my plate because Carrie is more capable or Carrie doesn't mind helping. When I was in high school, I remember asking Dad for $100 to take a standardized test. He frowned and told me I should be more responsible and find a way to earn the money myself. At the same time, Lily got a brand new tablet just because she wanted it. College was a whole different story. I applied for every scholarship I could find, worked part-time at a local bookstore on weekends, and took out some student loans. I managed to get into a good university and graduated with a degree in finance. During those 4 years, I lived in a small, shared dorm and ate a lot of cheap instant noodles. Lily, on the other hand, had a completely different experience. Mom and Dad paid for her application fees to several top-tier universities. They covered her full tuition at a prestigious school and gave her a generous monthly allowance. But even with all these advantages, Lily dropped out after 2 years, saying that college wasn't for her. After college, I started my career as a junior financial analyst at a small firm. The pay was low, and I had to work long hours. But I was dedicated, and through hard work, I slowly climbed the corporate ladder. I became a senior analyst and then, finally, a financial manager. Every time I called home to share my promotions, Mom and Dad's responses were always lukewarm. They would quickly shift the conversation to Lily's latest escapades or problems. Lily had a habit of starting things with enthusiasm and then quitting when they got tough. She tried different jobs in fashion, hospitality, and even a short stint in event planning. None of them lasted more than 6 months. After each job loss, Mom and Dad would step in to support her financially, whether it was paying her rent or covering her credit card bills. I, on the other hand, lived a simple life. I rented a small apartment in a quiet neighborhood, drove an old but reliable car, and saved most of my money for my future. By the time I was in my late 20s, I had managed to save a decent amount for a down payment on a house. Last year, I got a big promotion at work. I was made the head of the finance department, and my salary increased significantly. I was overjoyed, but also a bit hesitant to tell my family. I knew that any good news about me would quickly be overshadowed by Lily's issues. But somehow, the news reached Mom. A few days later, I got a text from her saying that we needed to have a family meeting. It was urgent and everyone had to be there. I was worried. I thought maybe someone was sick or there was a family emergency. When I arrived at my parents' house, I noticed some expensive new furniture in the living room. It seemed strange because Dad always talked about being careful with money in their retirement. Lily was there looking a bit too eager, and Uncle Tom, Dad's brother, was also present. His presence made me even more anxious. Dinner was tense. Everyone was overly nice to me, which made me suspicious. After dinner, Dad cleared his throat and said that they had called this meeting to discuss a financial matter. He said that Lily had started a small online business last year, but had run into some serious financial problems. Lily then explained that she had invested a lot of money in inventory that didn't sell, and there were also website costs and marketing expenses. In total, she was in debt for about $90,000. Mom quickly added that they had already helped Lily as much as they could, but they had depleted a large part of their retirement savings. Then, Dad looked at me and said that since I was doing so well at work, they thought I should pay off Lily's debts. He also mentioned that they hoped I could contribute a monthly amount to help them rebuild their retirement fund. I was stunned. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I tried to explain that my savings were for my own future, for buying a house, and for my retirement. But Lily protested, saying that I was making a lot of money now and that I should help her. Mom and Dad also started using the guilt trip, saying that family should help each other. I remembered all the times in the past when I had to struggle on my own while Lily was always coddled. I thought about how I had put myself through college and built my career from scratch. I realized that if I agreed to their demands, this pattern would never end. I stood up and said firmly that I couldn't do what they were asking. I was willing to help Lily find a financial counselor and assist her in creating a debt repayment plan, but I wouldn't pay off her debts or contribute to their retirement fund. My parents were shocked and angry. They called me selfish and said that I was going against family values. Lily started crying and accusing me of not caring about her. Uncle Tom, who had been mostly silent, finally spoke up and said that maybe I had a point. But Mom snapped at him and told him to stay out of it. In the end, I walked out of the house. I knew that I had made a difficult decision, but I also felt a sense of liberation. For the first time, I was standing up for myself and my own future. In the days that followed, I received a lot of angry texts and calls from my family. They tried to pressure me into changing my mind, but I stood firm. I also started seeing a therapist who helped me understand that my family's behavior was a form of financial abuse. Slowly, things started to change. Lily was forced to take responsibility for her debts. She found a new job and started working hard to pay them off. Mom and Dad also began to realize that they had been treating me unfairly. A few months later, Mom called me and asked if we could have dinner to talk. We met at a restaurant, and the conversation was initially awkward. But then, Mom said that they had been thinking about things, and they were sorry for putting so much pressure on me. Over time, our relationship has been gradually improving. I still maintain my boundaries, but I also feel that there is a new-found respect in our family. I've learned that sometimes walking away is the only way to break a toxic pattern and build a healthier relationship. And I'm glad that I had the courage to do it.